as great as the mighty Alan Jackson is, and he rode in on a white horse and delivered in a huge way. But I think, what he says is he couldn't have done this without special counsel Karen Reed.
Well, he's very kind. I believe
Was she
that
always
too.
like that when you were a kid, when she was a little girl and you're driving in the car? Was she like, no, Dad, you went exactly 3 miles past, and therefore, was she inquisitive like that with you?
Always had her head in the book. I always brought my kids to school. I've got three children, and Nathan is the oldest, and Elizabeth is the youngest, and Karen's in the middle. And I would bring her to school until the junior year of high school. At that point in time, she said, "Dad, I can't keep having you bring me to school." But in the middle school, she would be reading on the way to school. And finally, I said to her one day, I said, "Karen, can we at least share a conversation? I love being with you in the morning and everything, and wishing you good luck and have a great day. But you got your head in the book." And she's always been that type of woman. And I think that's what strengthened her attorneys, because they believed in her innocence from day one. And she had her head into the evidence. She knew the evidence, the pages, whether it be grand jury testimony at the state, whether it had been part of the Fed dump, the 3,000 pages. I mean, and whatever it may have been that you saw, she was the one that would be able to go back and delve into it and pry it apart. And as I said, "Karen, how do you do it?" I said, "Dad, it's my life. They're after me. They're coming for my life. I'm fighting for my very freedom." And it's something else.
Bill, we've got some people who are watching us live here, and please pass the says America's dad. God bless Mr. Reed, Mr. America's dad, sir. And then from Dragonfly, my heart has and always will be with your whole family. You got a lot of support, not just now, but of course it carried you. It carried you through this whole thing. I have to. How is Karen doing today? What is she doing? I think Alan alluded to the fact that when you go, she's not doing a whole bunch of interviews, because when you go through, an adrenaline, she's working on adrenaline for 3.5 years straight, every single day. That's very hard to come down from. So how is she taking care of herself?
She's managing. Again, it's an adjustment. We spoke yesterday by telephone, and I was out in the back unit, and she said, "Dad, do you feel like it's over?" I said, "Not entirely." I said, "Your mother and I feel like we're still working through it. So many days we got up and continued to be worried. We have our faith. We're Christians, Roman Catholics, and so we pray every day, rosaries and the like every day. So we were never, shall I say, so down to feel that they were going to take her forever from her. I've been a fortunate man in my life, as my wife has, and we always felt that somehow, even if it took to the 11th hour, and this was almost the 11th hour, well into the fourth year, it was going to be resolved, and it was resolved in a walk-off fashion. And I suppose my faith and belief in Jesus Christ really got us through that, because Jesus Christ, his mother, we have never let us down. We've been people of faith. We're churchgoers, and I just felt that in my age now, this was not going to be the first occasion where we would be disappointed in our faith, and we haven't been.
Karen, she withstood some embarrassing moments. She had to have those voicemails were played for the world to hear, screaming at John, and the whole area. She certainly had one caveat. They got her for driving under the influence, but she certainly had a lot to drink that night and get behind the car, and she must have had some moments in here though to sort of reflect on ways that she could maybe better go about life. I'm surprised at all the drinking and driving that there was in the whole case, especially from the police officers. But as Karen sort of had time to take account of, maybe I got to do some things differently.
I don't look at it that way, Billy. I think she was processing in that relationship. because of her medical situation, Karen was never going to be able to biologically have children. And I'm not sure that she would be necessarily one that would willingly embrace children. But those two children she saw as an opportunity to provide a female presence in their life. And so she hung on to that. And yeah, there was some anger, certainly some disappointment, some frustration in some of those voicemails. But I think when you look at it, so many people, I mean, I'm in my 70s now, so the idea, I mean, I still go back to American Bandstand and a rotary phone and 8 track. Um, so talk about dating myself, but so many people have told us, I've said worse to my husband, I've said worse to my significant other. God, I hope they never get my phone.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of humanizes Karen, much like all of those videos that were played in court.
Well, yeah, I
They,
think that's a great point. You when you talk about humanize is also one of the most powerful things I saw in social media was the way Karen spoke about John when he was down and on the lawn was called associative thinking, right? She said, John, my boyfriend John, she's referring to him that way. And when Jen McCabe, frankly, was on the stand, it was dissociative. She was like, there is a man down, there is a person, this is a friend of yours, this is somebody you know. And it was very much detached. So clearly they had a passionate relationship. How did you feel about John O'Keefe? Could you see him as a possible son-in-law if it went that far?
I can't say that. I like the man. He's been at my residence a few times here down in the Dighton area. I've been to the ball field where his nephew would be playing baseball, maybe Little League, I'm not sure. And he was quite a player. He was a left-hander. And we would joke sometimes. I saw John O'Keefe as really an athlete, an athlete. You could see his style. Throwing the football with him. I mean, you could see he had it in his blood. And I remember one day seeing his nephew, and his nephew wore number 9. He was a left-handed batter, and so I kind of needled O'Keefe. Again, I'm from the '50s, and Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris era is what I remember growing up. And so I said, "Does he wear 9 for Maris?" And he kind of gave me that look as if to say, Teddy ball game 9, Ted Williams, come on. But it was a joke. And, but there was quite a difference in the ages. But, I would always say to him when we'd watch a Bruins game, nobody like Orr, number 4. He revolutionized the game. He brought hockey to New England. And he'd say, well, Neely was pretty good too. And of course, but we did have consensus on one point. And that was that Tom Brady and the New England Patriots owned this area for 15, 20 years. He was the greatest of all time.
He sure was. Wow. I think about your daughter all the time. We all do. Do you have any idea when we'll see her? Is she going to do any sort of? Can she even go out to a restaurant at this point? Her whole life has changed. She's a complete legend in the area.
It is. I remember. She talks to Alan Jackson frequently, and he is the greatest of all time when it comes to attorneys. Man, and we had some fabulous attorneys, and we did.
Yeah.
And collectively as a team, you saw it. They had their heart on their sleeve. But I'll tell you, this man's intellect, meaning Alan Jackson, his work ethic, unsurpassed. When he's in the zone, you can't touch him. And I can remember that day, about 5 minutes to 3, I'm talking June 18th, when the verdict was coming in. He got up and he looked at me and he came over to me. He put his arm around me and he said, Bill, don't worry, I got this. And he said that to me routinely. And it wasn't cockiness, it was confidence. He knew his abilities, he knew what he delivered. And boy, that was a walk-off. And when you heard that thunderous applause in that courtroom and then come out to those hundreds of people in pink,
Yeah.
um, it was it was chilling, and we're still living that moment. I mean, my wife and I were out Saturday night at an event, a 70th birthday party, and I'm in line getting some of the buffet food, and someone said to me, "Can I interrupt you?" And I thought he was going to say, "Would you pass me the string beans? Are you Karen Reed's dad?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." And I'm one of, one of two proud parents of Karen Reed. So very proud of what she's done, her strength, her courage, her fight, and so many women who have found themselves marginalized, disrespected in society for one reason or another have seen Karen's fight. Thank you for that picture.
Yeah.
And have been so supportive.
Did you get a
It's